Hello boys and girls. Today's activity task is Wednesday, March 31st. In this activity, we will be ordering decimal numbers. You will need to cut all of your number cards and place them in a pile face down on your desk. You will select 4 cards from the pile and place those numbers in your place value chart. You will place those numbers in order from least to greatest, then record those numbers in order on a separate sheet of paper. I've already cut my cards, so I'm going to pick 4 from the pile. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Move those over to the side. I'm going to turn these over. The first one is 2/10, so I'll write my 2 in the 10th place. The next number is 19 8/10. So I'm going to have 1 in the 10s, 9 in the 1s, and 8 in the 10th place. Then I have 116 and 77 hundredths. And then the last number is 5 and 999 thousandths. One thing we want to remember when placing decimal numbers in order is that the number of digits that make up the number does not mean if it has more digits, it's greater, or if it has fewer digits, it's less. We must compare digits place by place. What I noticed first of all is that this number, 116 and 77 hundredths, goes all the way to the hundreds place in the ones period. Since this number is the only number that goes to the hundredths place, I know that this number, 116 and 77 hundredths, must be the greatest number. And since we're putting these numbers in order from least to greatest, I know that that number must be the last number on my list. So I list it as number 4 and I cross it out. I look at the remaining numbers on my list. I see that this number, 19 and 8/10, goes to the tens place and no other number does. So this must be my second greatest number on my list. So I'll list it as number 3. I see that there is no ones digit here, so this must be my least. So I'll call it number 1. And since this is in the ones place and it's greater than 0, I will make this my number 2. Now I'm told to list these numbers in order from least to greatest on a separate sheet of notebook paper. I'll consider this my separate sheet of notebook paper. And I'm going to put them in order from the least to the greatest. So the least is going to be 2/10. Next will be 5 and 999 thousandths. Next would be 9 and 8/10. And then the greatest is 116 and 77 hundredths. We're going to choose 4 more cards, and this time they want us to alternate the order. So instead of ordering them from least to greatest, we're going to order them from greatest to least. So I pulled 4 more cards, and this time I'm supposed to put them in order from greatest to least, following the same instructions as before. Take my number and I place it in my place value chart. 6 and 88 hundredths. 4 and 2/10. 1 and 70 hundredths, and 15 and 702 thousandths. One thing I didn't do last time, which could come in handy for some of you who are having trouble, sometimes it's easier to compare when all of the numbers have the same amount of digits. So you could put placeholders, your zeros, here so that every number that you're comparing has the same amount of digits. And since we're putting these numbers in order from the greatest to least, I'm going to look at the largest place where a digit is represented, and that's the tens place. The only number that is greater than 0 is this 1. So that tells me that this number, 15 and 702 thousandths, is going to be my greatest. So this time, my greatest is going to be number 1. Since all of the digits in the other 3 numbers in the tens place is a 0, we move to the ones place. In the ones place, I have a 6, a 4, and a 1. The greatest number in this place is going to be the 6. So I'll make this my number 2. We're still in the same place. We have a 4 and a 1, the largest of which is the 4, so this will be number 3. That makes this number my number 4. So when I go to place these numbers in order from greatest to least this time, it would read 15 and 702 thousandths, then 6 and 880 thousandths, or 6 and 88 hundredths. Next would be 4 and 200 thousandths, or 4 and 2 tenths. And lastly, we would have 1 and 700 thousandths, or 1 and 7 tenths. Hopefully, boys and girls, I helped you with placing decimal numbers in order from least to greatest and greatest to least.